What's going on, everybody? It's Firezz here, and I'm doing a completely different video than usual today. Um, so I opened Twitter a few days ago, and I had seen For Honor post that the new hero was coming out, and I was like, okay, I haven't played since Pirate had just came out. But to my surprise, the new hero was Lu fucking Boo from Romance of the Three Kingdoms in ancient China, and I was like, oh my god, that is the coolest thing ever. So I loaded up my Xbox, bought the new hero, and decided to make my return for the first time since, I think, 2022 when Pirate came out. And I just wanted to do this video as my initial thoughts on Juren slash Lu Bu, and my initial thoughts as a returning player after, 3 years, or 4 years at this point, wow, a 4-year break of the game. So I want you to take everything I say into consideration with that, that I'm going to be rusty. You're going to see it in the gameplay here. I'm going to be rusty. I'm going to overcome, and I'm going to make the changes I need to win some of the games, but you're going to see me lose some. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to put some in here that I'm going to lose. Like, there's a clip in here later of us, I think it's Sohi is the way you pronounce it, of me discovering his insta-kill, and you're going to see me kind of lose the game to that. But I wanted to show, just some of the natural growth I've made. And so before we get into the Juren thing, I want to get a little background on me here. I played since pretty much launch day, up until 2022. I'd played Cent, I was Diamond, I believe. Whatever the highest rank in Diamond was in the ranked mode, that's what I was with Cent for a good while, when I played the ranked mode. If I had any clips of how good I think I used to be, I would put them in here, but I don't know if I have any. Maybe I'll add them in post-edit. But up until then, Cent has always been my favorite character, and so I'd really mainly played. I'd experimented. I'd played Shaman too. Shaman was kind of my backup main, but I was always big on Cent, because always my favorite. And Juren is pretty cool. As a Cent player, I really like some of his stuff. It feels like I've got to use a lot of my mix-ups to get value out of him, which is the kind of feel you get with Cent too. So good on them for that. I don't know anything about the balancing at the moment. Last time I played, Highlander was the best character in the game. But yeah, that's just a little background on me. So let's just get into some of the Juren, critiques and stuff I have here. Okay, so the first thing that I want to start with is the fact that on a guard break you pretty much have a guaranteed damage. I think that's a really cool concept, and there's a lot of counterplay to it that I'll get into, but I think the fact that on a guard break, if you hold X, you can get the throw him to the ground, and restore your stamina and their stamina. I think that's a great fucking concept. It adds a lot of counterplay to guard breaks, which are kind of... I don't know about any of the new heroes, I'll get into all of them later, since Pirate, but I think on the guard break, that's a very cool concept with the counterplay.
Round one.
You could either feint the fucking, or not feint, sorry, you could fake the throw and just go into a regular guard break, and then go into like a light or something. Or you could go, if you're low on health, or low on stam, you could go into the throw, restore both of your staminas, and kind of reset the fight. This is the Sohei clip I was talking about earlier, by the way. You're gonna see it later in the clip. At the end, I'm kind of just gonna let him kill me, because I want to see how the insta-kill works in this. But I think in this first clip here, you're gonna see me discover the Sohei insta-kill when I believe he has his red. Or something. It might be in the second one, but it's in here at least, I know that. But, back to Juren. Sorry, I'm just watching this. Yeah, it's in this clip later. But, back to the guard break. I like after a regular guard break, you could hit X and kind of get like, on Cent, you can get the head into the knee. I don't know what it's called on Juren, but I like that counterplay a lot, too. Sorry. You really have a lot of fucking a lot of mix-ups to deal with guard break, and it's not a lot of characters, really rely on guard break that much. And I think when Ubisoft starts doing shit like this, it's healthy for the game. When they go on mechanics that were like otherwise, just kind of a basic mechanic like a guard break. I think when they start making characters like this and Cent that rely on it more, we really haven't seen it a lot, and I think it's a great idea, and I think it's very healthy for the game overall. Sorry, I just have a list here that I'm looking at. I've noticed that some of his hyper armor on his heavies reminds me of Highlander of old. You know, when Highlander would just come in and spin and he would get hyper armor on everything. It's not on every heavy with Lu Bu. Sorry, I'm just gonna call him Lu Bu because I've been playing Romance of the Three Kingdoms for so long. But it's not on every heavy with Lu Bu. It's on some of them, and it's. I understand why they did it. I mean, it is Lu Bu. He's the fucking strongest warrior in ancient Chinese history. But I don't know if that's going to end up getting patched out. I'm not going to really dwell too long on that. You know, it is what it kind of is. I mean, but it definitely sometimes would be like, wow, it's fucking Highlander high arm. That's Highlander hyper armor on that. There's the Sohei insta-kill. When that happened to me, I was like, what the fuck just happened? But that was kind of, you're going to see me just kind of figure out how it works here. But,
Round 4.
Let's see, what else do I have on here? Okay, so the other thing about the throw, when he holds X and throws you to the ground, I really like the balance there, where you're not even guaranteed a light. I had figured that out. I was like, okay, maybe you're guaranteed a heavy, which would be kind of crazy. No, you're not, so I do it again, and I'm like, okay, I'll try a light, and you're not even guaranteed the light. They get up and you just start blocking, and I think that is very healthy for the game too, you know? Because the throw is such a good move in concept. I think that not even guaranteeing them a light there is kind of what they needed to do to balance out Lu Bu a little bit. Just kind of as a little side note in post, the feat for Lu Bu, it's called God Among Men. Or the feat for Lu Bu, sorry, fucked up my words there. The feat is awesome, where it makes it so everybody except you takes more damage on the battlefield. That really, you know, feels like Lu Bu, because in ancient Chinese history, he was a god among men. He was the greatest warrior ever. And I think that's a really cool flavor feat. You know, it's just really nice flavor, and I think that's a really cool thing that they added. Kind of the last thing I want to touch on with Lu Bu is the forward A X bash versus holding it and getting into the head kick high. That's a really cool mix-up, you know what I mean? When you can either go forward and go for the body, I think it is, or it might be left guard, and it's a little bit quicker, or you can feint it and get hyper armor, or sorry, not feint, you can hold it and get hyper armor and go to the head. And that's a really cool mix-up. I mean, it's real, I'm not gonna lie. For me, at least, it's pretty fucking hard to play against. But when I execute it, it feels really nice. I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, that's kind of all I really had for Lu Bu. I mean, he seems pretty solid. He seems pretty good. I mean, he definitely doesn't seem weak at all. And he's very mix-up intensive, and it's hard. He's really fucking unpredictable, I'm not gonna lie. And, you know, you don't really see many characters like that anymore, at least from what I remember. The last one I can really remember that was like, wow, what the fuck are you gonna do, was Nusha. Or like, some of the Wulin guys are like that. But, you know, other than that, I mean, I don't really have much to say about Lu Bu. He's pretty cool. So I'm gonna get into... Next, I'm gonna start on some of my thoughts on returning to the game after so long. I'm gonna touch on all the new heroes, how I feel, and... yeah, I'm just gonna get into the experience, you know, returning, and what's changed, what hasn't changed, what needs to change, and just some balancing. Yeah. So returning back after, you know, this 4 or 5 year break, however, I think 4 years is what it was. You know, I knew there was some stuff I was already expecting, there was some stuff I wasn't expecting. You know, there was some stuff I figured that they might have changed because they've been bugs in the game for so long, but sometimes most of the main stuff they kind of didn't fix. The thing that I was the least knowledgeable about was definitely the balancing. You know, I don't know who's good anymore or any of that. Like I said, Highlander was the best last time I played, so especially with, I don't know how many new heroes there are since I played like 6 or 7. It was definitely, you know, an experience coming back after so long. The first thing I wanted to touch on, though, is a bug that has been in the game for as long as I can remember. And I really hoped they had fixed it in 4 years, but it is when you're loading into a duel and one of the other person disconnects, and you have to play against a bot, and you do not have the option to back out, or else you will get a ban. I mean... even when after character, like, you'll load into character select and it'll be against a bot still. And it's like, holy shit, this has been going on for 4 fucking years. It's like, please, Ubisoft. And that was kind of the main thing I would hope was fixed, but that's really the only bug that I can remember, if you could call it a bug. I mean, just make it so if it's a bot, we can back out, please, without a ban. I don't want to play against a bot when I'm queuing duel, respectfully. I'll queue bot duel. Next thing I want to say, this isn't really like a critique. The cross progression is fucking awesome. This was not there when I was playing, and oh my god, it is amazing. Cross progression is fucking beautiful, and I love it. That's kind of all I have to say about it. I mean, that's just great. I've been waiting for that. The other thing, this is the biggest part for me. You'll see, especially when I'm playing Scent, like in this clip here, that zone option selects have been removed completely from the game. And you'll see me in a lot of these clips, I'll still be trying to zone option select on shit, and it doesn't work. And it's really hard for me to get used to that, because they were such an important part of my kit. Especially on Scent. But that was a hard one for me to get used to. Let's see. The new menu, it's okay. I like the map on the old menu, so it's kind of disappointing to see that, but it really doesn't matter in the slightest. So I'm not going to touch on that for too long. The activity indicators. It said breach. This has been going on since the game started. It said breach, medium activity, and I had a 20-minute breach queue. And it said Dominion, very high activity, and I had a 10-minute Dominion queue. And it said Duel, low activity, and I had an instant queue. So the activity indicators are still all out of whack. I can't even imagine the tribute queues at this point, because they were bad on the first time, or they were bad back in the day. So, I can't even, that's terrifying. The breach fucking queues, too, but especially the tribute queues. And tribute's a fun game mode! You know, breach is my favorite game mode. If I have the option, I'll play breach, but I'm not waiting 20 minutes. What else is there? You know, Dominion's the exact same, breach is the exact same. I'm not playing tribute. I mean, the modes are still the same. They give me starter Dominion or something. I assume it's because I hadn't played in so long, but I'm playing with all people that don't even have, like, a rep on their account, so I kind of feel bad. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know why I'm able to be in this queue, but it's there, I guess. Maybe it says it goes away in like 20 days. I don't know if that's a thing for everybody or not, but why would it be called Starter Dominion? But like I said, guys, I haven't played in 4 years, so this is all my initial thoughts on my first day. Yesterday was my first day playing the game again. I'm recording this the day after Lubu came out. It is the 30th. Just looking at my list here, trying to think of everything. I got the menu. Activity indicators I did the queues. I did the bot loading into Duel. The toxicity, it's still the same. There's a clip in here, I don't know if it already played or not, I think it's in the one after this, where I had fought this guy, and I beat him, and he goes, good fight, and I said, good fight, and I did an emote, and he goes, wow, 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 and it's like, I did an emote. But, you know, you're still gonna get your people going, wow, 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 after you beat them, you're still gonna get your people going, thanks, after they beat you. You know, that was one thing I knew coming back in was not gonna change, and I was damn right in the fact that it did not change in the slightest. I wasn't expecting it to, and I really wouldn't have it any other way, because that's the game I know, and that's the game I love. I love when people spam thanks. I think it's hilarious. And I think it's hilarious when I kill somebody and they go, wow, wow, wow. It's like, okay, you can be mad if you want. But, I mean, that's really all gameplay, well, not gameplay-wise, that's really all, like, community and just user interface-wise that I had to go over. So I just kind of want to touch on each of the new heroes now from the last time I played. Alright, so as I record this voiceover for this next part, I have the game open here, and I'm taking a look at all of the heroes that were added since the last time I played. The newest hero the last time I played, I might have already said this in the video, was Pirate. You know, I played on the day Pirate came out, and then I really didn't play at all after that. So Pirate, I'm gonna count in this new hero thing for me. Pirate, Afira, Medjai, Ocelotl, Virtuosa, Kowtoon, Sohi, Lubu, obviously, and I don't know how to pronounce the Vikings name. It's like Varigane, or Varengane. But, you know, I'm gonna kind of just go over each one and give you my opinions on them. Before we get started on all of them, I tried out all of them. You know, I got like I don't know, like maybe level 15, 20 on each, so I did a decent amount of games. And, I've got to say, my favorite is the Viking, Varangian Guard. By far, my absolute favorite of the new heroes. If not one of my favorite heroes in the game. And I'll get into why in a few seconds here. But the shield bash is great, it feels incredible, and I normally don't like all guard characters. But that doesn't feel like a full all guard because I can't hold it. So I kind of don't have to play with it like it's a warlord, or like it's a Valkyrie. You know what I'm saying? I can use it, like, tastefully, almost. And I like being able to dodge into everything with my shield. I love shield characters. I love being able to dodge into shit. And she does that very well. Her full guard, being able to do any, what you can do out of it, I forgot what it is. That's nice, too. And I like being able to chain, you know, an attack, and then an unblockable stun, and an attack, and then into an unblockable heavy. It all just feels... It feels slow, but it feels really fluid. And I think that's what they were trying to go for with the character. A character with a shield and a big fucking axe. And they executed that perfectly. And I think that she is the best of the new characters. I also think her design, like, image-wise, is very cool. I also just love the Vikings, though. They're my favorites. Lubu is probably my next favorite, and I already touched on him for so long in the beginning. Juren, Lubu, whatever you want to call him. He's number 2 for me. And then number 3's got to go to Pirate for me. I really like the gun. You know, it feels super nice to be able to just shoot. After every heavy, you know, you can just fucking shoot them. And, I mean, what other hero can offer that? I mean, that is absolutely hysterical. You could kill them with the gun, too. That's the funniest shit ever. If you get killed fucking sniping people in the melee combat game, I think that's hysterical. And it doesn't feel like she's too overpowered or anything, so I have a good time playing her. So, I mean, other than that, I don't have much to say. She's definitely... You need a lot of mix-ups with her, and she's a counter-attacker. But that's my type of character. That's why I like Scent so much. So, Pirate's my number 2. Or number 3, sorry. Of the new ones. Next, This might be crazy, I don't know. I tend to like the hard characters, but Medjai. Medjai is my next one. I really like being able to kind of switch from Guan Yu or Zhang Zheng into fucking Berserker. I think that's awesome, and it really lets you play the character how you want to play the character with your spins, and then you could just step back and switch and get into lights if they're low to try to fucking kill them down with lights. I didn't play too much time on him, but, you know, he's pretty tanky. I'm not gonna lie, he is very fucking tanky. But I think Medjai is, I think it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty fun. I don't know about competitive viability or anything, but, you know, just for the few games I played on him, I had a good time. Okay, now we start getting into the ones that I don't really like. Round 2. I guess next would probably be Aphira. I love shield characters, but she's too fast-paced for me, I'm not gonna lie. I know there's people out there who like her, and I know there's people out there who her playstyle would benefit. Their playstyle would definitely benefit playing her. But she's a little too fast for me. You have to be relentless with her, and that's not really my playstyle. You know what I mean? The mix-up, I know that she needs a lot of mix-ups too, but it's just hard for me, and I was just kind of on her. She's next. Then, okay, I looked at some stuff and they said they're nerfing Virtuosa, so I can't really give you an opinion on her, but I like, the parry stance is weird. I liked using it, but playing against it fucking pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie. Playing against it made me really mad. So, I'm gonna just leave, these last 4, I haven't really played too much, so this is kind of just my initial thoughts on them. The parry stance is cool but annoying, and she seems kind of, like, high-powered at the moment. I mean, I like the idea of a rapier, being able to just poke, 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 poke. I think that's a cool idea, but I think she needs to be toned down a little bit. But this is just my initial impressions on her. Next is Ocelotl. I kind of felt like with Ocelotl, if I was gonna play anything like him, I would just kind of play, like, one of the other dual-wield characters, like Berserker, or, like, a fucking Shinobi, or, like, Nusha, or, like, fucking even Medjai. It says here that he's a ganker. haven't seen that before. That's fucking hysterical, Ubisoft. So is that your way of just saying he's not good in 1v1? I'm just joking, but I don't have much to say about him. I only played a few games on him. I kind of didn't like him. And that kind of leads us to our last one, which is Kauton, who I really hated. I'm not gonna lie. The assassin stance seems to be different now, too, is what I've realized. It's kind of like, at least on him, it doesn't fully fade like it used to. And that was kind of confusing to me, because I saw assassin and I'm like, okay, I've got to get ready to just be blocking everything up and up and down and down. But it doesn't fade, and that was kind of messing me up. Other than that, he doesn't really have anything, I'm not gonna lie. He's just kind of got swords. He doesn't really have any, like, huge chains or unblockables or anything, it seems like. I mean, I don't really have much to say because there isn't much to say. I mean, he just seems like, I don't know, I've seen people play him and they don't really do anything with him, at least in the ranks that I'm playing at coming back. I've looked at his moveset and I don't understand what the thing is with him. You know what I mean? He's not our last, by the way. He should be our last. I did this order wrong. He should be last. This next one will be second to last. But I'll give him... I'll put him here. And our last, who should be second to last, is Sohei. I was kind of disappointed when I saw Sohei. I know he's a heavy, but with that weapon, I'm expecting him to kind of be like Sekiro, where he's like throwing it down, and like he's like stepping on people's weapons and shit. I don't know why I had this idea in my head. Maybe it's because of his visual appearance or anything, but this is kind of the idea I had in my head with him, and getting to play him and going hands-on with him, he is so slow. Yes, he's got the insta-kill, but oh my god, he's the slowest character I've ever played. He makes Shigoki look like fucking Sen. It's like, not my character. The hammer is weird. I understand his whole thing is that he's a weapons master. But with somebody of that cool of a main weapon, his big spear, I would have preferred just a character with just the spear as his weapon, not pulling out hammers and shit. And the fucking club and all that jazz. You can see the shit on his back. I think that weapon itself could have warranted a whole hero. Not a hero that has to rely on other weapons. But that's just my gripe. I don't really have, like, gameplay-wise anything to say about him. I mean, he's just slow, it feels like. And yes, the insta-kill is cool, and the soul stances, and then the red soul stance, it's kind of complicated, I'm not gonna lie. He's just not my type of character, I'm not gonna lie. And that's kind of all I have to say for these last few ones. You know, for Sohei, for Ocelotl, for Virtuosa, and for Kauton. They're just... and Afira, even. They're just not my type of characters. And I don't see myself playing them. Like, I can see myself load into a game playing, like, Black Prior, or I can see myself loading and playing, Varigan, or fucking Sent, obviously. Or I can even see myself loading in and playing fucking Lu Bu in the future, because he's really fun. But these aren't my type. And that's my personal opinion. I know there's a lot of people out there who like them, and I'm glad that they've made so many unique and diverse characters to where people can actually play, like, to their playstyle. Because when the game first came out, before any of the DLC, the characters were different, but there wasn't anything, like, hugely different. Like, compared to now, you put somebody who played, like, when there was no DLC, and they see, like, Sohei, and they're insta-killing people, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? And I think that's healthy for the game. But, I don't know, they're just... some of them I like, some of them I don't. That's kind of all I have to say about that. And, you know, that's pretty much all I have to say about returning to For Honor. I'm gonna be playing recently still, because I forgot how much I missed the game, I'm not gonna lie. I talked about pretty much everything I wanted to here. Talked about Lu Bu for a while, and yeah, expect more videos soon. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, tell me how you feel, tell me how I'm wrong, and all that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good run.